And, Rob, I mean, we talked earlier in the show about the situations involving all the different series. I know you and I are on completely opposite sides when it comes to the Warriors. And watching them last night, there's no way I can see another team winning the NBA Finals considering Devin Booker's injury. Right now, the two big things the last couple of days have been Booker's injury and Chris Middleton's injury. Like, Middleton's going to be out a couple of weeks. Booker's going to be out at least 2 to 3 weeks. Suddenly, beating New Orleans is going to be difficult. It's a huge blow. The Warriors are a team without problems right now. And they've figured out their situation with their playing time and Steph coming off the bench for now, and they're rolling. And they get the death lineup out there, their new death lineup for 8 or 10 minutes, and suddenly we're turning a 5-point deficit into a 10-point lead. Everybody else has problems, and they're trying to figure out their way with injuries happening every 5 minutes left and right to all of these teams. The Warriors don't have any, and Denver's a team that's not a great team,
go
but
ahead.
still
Try to sugarcoat it. Go ahead and make Denver out to be better than they really are.
Okay.
They've been held together by popsicle sticks, tape, glue,
come on,
and gum.
man. I was going to say I was even going to help you, man, but now screw it. I'm not going to help you. You think Minnesota's this great team. Denver and Minnesota are the same teams, right? And Denver, oh, by the way, has last year's MVP who could be this year's MVP. Joel Embiid wouldn't be happy. They've won actually 3 more games than Minnesota, right? They're kind of the same teams. Golden State's up 3-0 off against them, and your pick, Memphis, is struggling. Great comeback, struggling with Minnesota. Nobody's got the horsepower to keep up with the Warriors with Devin Booker's and all these other injuries going on around the league. Golden State is healthy. Healthy teams win in the playoffs. I don't see how it's anybody outside of the Warriors right now.
Tell me, what's Memphis' problem? I mean, you say everybody's banged up or got injuries. Memphis is a good young team. Ja Morant is a good young star. He's not the only guy. Didn't even play that well and last night. And they put together one of the greatest comebacks in playoff history, down by 26, go on something like a 31-5 run at some point. And you're saying that it's Golden State and they're the supreme team. When you look at a team like Memphis, and I get it, the only reason you're discounting them is because they're young, but I say that that's a plus. That being young is a major plus. And the Grizzlies, let me correct, I went on a 42-12 run in the last 13 minutes. 42-12, that's a scary proposition for other teams to face them as you go forward with their energy, with the array. You don't know where it's coming from. Ja wasn't great last night, and they still were able to put on a performance on the road. On the road. They started the postseason getting punched in the mouth. They responded in game 2 with like a 30-point blowout win. They go on the road. They fall behind big time. It looks like Minnesota, which had their number during the regular season as far as matchups. And what do? They just put their foot on the Timberwolves' neck and said, don't even think you're winning this series, despite winning game 1 the way that they did. And if you want to discount them and act as if this is the Warriors and it's all about them because they've beaten up on the downtrodden, injury-laden mass unit, Denver Nuggets, and you want to celebrate that, go ahead. Jason, take your fool's goal. Celebrate. Break ground in San Francisco. Be a 49er, whatever you want to do. I'm not there with you. I think it's way premature, your celebration of the Warriors. They couldn't even win a 3-1 championship 5-6 years ago. When they were
let's go back 6 years ago. Let's go back 6 years to try to make a point. They were even better back then, and they didn't win.
Let's go back 6 years. You're trying to tell me now that they're better than they were back then?
Let's go back. Hey, Run TMC couldn't get it done. They're not going to get it done now. Look, Denver, no matter what you say about Denver, they haven't had Jamal Murray all season long. They haven't had these guys. They still won 3 more games in Minnesota, right? At the best, they're the same team. Right? They've had the same kind of success this year. Yet the success that Golden State has over Denver, who, oh, by the way, again, Denver, MVP last year, finalist for MVP this year, is different than the success that the Grizzlies are having? If it was reversed and the Grizzlies were up 3-0 over Denver, you'd be saying, oh, look at Memphis against last year's MVP. They're making them look silly. And look at the Warriors. They couldn't win game 1. They needed that 42-12 run to win game 3, and that's 2-1 lead over Minnesota. You'd be saying the exact opposite for this. When you got to deal with what you see, and the Warriors are the best team. Look, Memphis is good. And I'm going to give you that because people didn't pay attention to what they were doing without John Morant. 100% I agree with you on. At the end of the season when Morant was out, they still wound up winning games. They overtook the Suns for the second seed. Look, Suns didn't have Steph. They didn't win as much. They were still able to win without John Morant. They got some great pieces on this team. I think everybody in their rotations in the top 100 for player efficiency rating. They're a good team. They're not the firepower of the Warriors. All right, they're not a team we can beat you so many different ways. This is still a Minnesota team that, okay, they're good. Minnesota's a good team, but it's not like, hey, we're going on the road and we're beating the Bucks at full capacity, the defending champions like this. No, you're beating the Timberwolves, who still are a team that is good, but they're the same kind of team as Denver. I mean, I feel like you're ignoring the facts and what we've seen out of the Warriors. They're the team that's up 3-0. They're the team that's looked great. They're the team that's healthy. They're the team that's gotten all their guys back. And, oh, by the way, I go back to, they're the team that's healthy. Everybody else has issues. It was Phoenix, and then the Booker injury changed everything because Phoenix still was better than everybody else. Look, they proved it in the regular season. They're 13 games better than the Warriors were. They were better than everybody else. But missing Devin Booker is a big game changer. And now the Warriors being healthy with the star power they have, I don't see who can give them problems. I really don't see a team giving them problems. This is the only
thing I don't understand. You try to poo-poo Minnesota. They were the highest scoring team in the NBA. And the Grizzlies held them to only 30 field goals in Game 2, which was matched their season low, and then they only had 33 last night. So you can act as if Minnesota and Denver's interchangeable, but what the Grizzlies have been able to do is pretty amazing thus far against a team that led the league, that was the highest scoring team in the NBA. So I don't equate that those two teams are the same, and because Denver won 3 more games than the Timberwolves, that it's a wash. I'm not buying into that. Coming in, that was a matchup hell for the Grizzlies, and we saw it in Game 1. A lot of people thought, whoa, maybe Minnesota there, and the Grizzlies are not ready. And I'm just trying to say, pump the brakes on crowning the Warriors. I just think it's premature. Let me see in the next series. And let me see, I'm not the only one who think the Memphis Grizzlies are for real and can make a real run. We saw them during the regular season. I think they had a record of something like 17-3 without Ja. I mean, which is incredible. Like, that's how balanced and good this team is. And a lot of people will sleep because it is Memphis. Oh, it's the Grizzlies. They're not going to any NBA Finals. They're too young, and you want to discount them. You talk about look at what you're watching. I am looking. And I just saw an unbelievable comeback on the road by a young team. They're growing up before our eyes. Wipe the Sandman out of your eyes, Jason Smith.
Rob,
yes.
the Minnesota there were 16 teams that made the playoffs. 12 of them had better records than Minnesota. Okay, 12. Minnesota's not this world-beating team. This is not the Miami Heat. This is not the Heatles that the Memphis Grizzlies, oh, by the way, as good as they are having a lot of trouble with. They're having a lot of trouble. You could say it's a great comeback. It was great. It's exciting. Like I said, I like Memphis, but I'm comparing Memphis to the Warriors, and it's not even close, man. I mean, look at the Warriors' depth lineup has 82 points in 26 minutes. When they're down, we're just going to put these 5 guys on the court, and we're going to turn whatever deficit we have into a 15-point lead. Right? That's what the Warriors do. They're leading the NBA in everything so far in the playoffs. Assists, passes, assist percentage, potential assists. They move the ball incredibly well.
Sure, when you're playing a beat-up, downtrodden team, you should.
This is the same team they've been all year. Denver is missing a couple of players, but they've been missing these guys the whole time, and they were still finished higher in the standings than Minnesota did. So it's not like, many teams are injured, but this is the same Denver Nuggets team, and they are making them look silly.
And the other thing that you're like totally discounting, and I get it, I mean, with the Booker injury, but the Warriors have had their share, and don't be so sure that they're going to make it through without losing one of their guys along the way, and that would change a lot of things. All I'm saying is be careful to just think that they have a smooth path. Everybody thought that last year. I remember when the Lakers, they thought they had a smooth path into the finals last year, and then AD got hurt, and that all changed everything because it was looking like, oh, wow, look, they got an easy route, and the Lakers are going to get back to the finals, and it was all that talk, and things changed. All I'm saying is it ain't as cut and dry as you're making it out, and you're making too big of a deal of an opening round against a beat-up Denver team that has the MVP on it, but they were a 6th seed. It tells you have an MVP of a league who put up some of the most unbelievable numbers we've ever seen, and yet they were only 6th seed. That's because they didn't have enough manpower, and they were missing some people, some players. Jamal Murray is a big miss. That guy helped them get to the Western Conference Finals couple years ago. So let's not act like missing him doesn't mean anything to the Denver Nuggets.
Okay, so by what you just said, so only the Warriors have to worry about injuries.
No,
they can lose one of their guys,
does.
but Memphis doesn't have to. Well,
no,
you just told me the
does,
Warriors can lose one of their guys, but Memphis
they got
can lose one of their guys
team
too.
Of guys who have been hurt often. That's my point. Draymond's been hurt. Steph's been hurt, right? Clay's been hurt.
Ja Morant has been hurt more recently than anybody.
Okay, but he's young. I'm just saying that the Warriors have 3 older guys who have been hurt. And I'm just saying, don't count your chickens before they hatch as if this is a layup to the finals.
Okay, and for Minnesota, because I want to get the other part right. For Minnesota, best offense in the league, but it's okay that they were the 7 seed? That doesn't mean they're not as good in many other areas. Because
I got that, but I'm trying to give you what the Grizzlies have been able to do against the high-powered offense. I told you, Game 2, 30 field goals, which tied their season low. 33 last night. Those are impressive numbers against a team that can put the ball in the hole. That's all I'm pointing out. They're not the win-all, beat-all Minnesota Timberwolves. But I'm saying what Memphis has been able to do is pretty impressive the last 2 games when you consider where they started and how they got punched in the mouth, this young team. I'm impressed by the way they've turned it around. That's all I'm saying to you.
Yeah, but it happened. I get it. I understand that. Like I told you, I'm with you to a point on Memphis, but you can't ignore what happened. Let me try to find a way around it and cut this up for Memphis. The bottom line is Memphis is in trouble in this series. Okay, they're up 2-1.
How are they in trouble?
Because they're up 2-1 and they're on the road for Game 4.
They already won. They won a game on the road. They're not in trouble.
They lost a game at home and they won one game on the road.
So they have home court back. So how are they in trouble?
It's a 2. This shouldn't have been a series where they're up 3-0, where they're trying to close out a lesser team. When they're at full strength with Ja Morant.
This is the NBA. Teams win. The Suns lost at home.
Okay, Warriors haven't lost. Warriors have played Nuggets.
Because they're playing the weakest team in the league now.
How are they the weakest team in the league? If they were the weakest team, they would be out of the playoffs, and they would be a much lower seed. They still won these games with this lineup. They were still able to do this. They didn't suddenly lose Jamal Murray. They didn't lose Michael Porter.
You know how many bad teams there are in the NBA? Jason, when you get to the playoffs, you have the creme de la creme. Stop it.
They're 14 games over 500.
Against so many bad teams, night in and night out. There are 20 bad teams in the NBA. So to pile up wins during the regular season doesn't mean that you're this or that. It's when you get to the postseason.
Yeah,
Denver, when you look at all the other teams in the postseason, because they're down a couple of men and good players, very good players, they're probably, of all the teams that are there, coming into the playoffs, probably the weakest because they didn't have all their pieces. That's all I'm saying.
They're 14 games over 500, right? And that's a good team during the regular season, right? If they were bad, the Knicks are bad. I mean, the Knicks were 8 games under 5. The Knicks were bad. Washington's bad. Indiana's bad. This is still a pretty good team. Are they a title contender? No, but this is still a pretty good team. Oh, by the way, again, with last year's MVP and a guy that could win it again this year. And it's like you're treating them like they're the Orlando Magic, who somehow got a bye and won a lottery to get into the playoffs while they're playing this series. I mean, if Denver and Minnesota are the same kinds of teams, right? Different styles, but they both won around the same number of games and are the same kind of teams coming in. Minnesota had to navigate the play-in round to get in. And look, the Warriors are clearly having a better time of it with their opponent than Memphis is with their opponent.
All right, if you think so, I'm not buying it.
Oh, are we going to bet wings on this again? We're going to bet who
we
goes
already
further?
got a wings bet.
Who
We're
goes
good
further?
on that.
You want to bet Jordans on it? Let's bet Jordans on
No,
this
we're
one.
not betting
We're not
Jordans.
betting.